Hello and welcome to my Sharuum the Hegemon EDH deck. This is Sharuum. She's a 6 mana, 5/5 flyer, who's also an artifact creature and an Esper colorist. She also lets us pop an artifact out of our graveyard when she hits the field, so she's very good. Sharuum is normally used as a combo general. I use her as that, but I also have a beater package, which I like to use sometimes, just so I can have variation. I'm going to take you through the utility lands. We have Academy runes and Buried runes. These are kind of like for smaller artifacts that we want to recur. Things that you don't want to, you reuse Sharuum for. So these are just a little bit easier on you. High Market. This is a good sack outlet. It saves your stuff from stupid removal like Path of Swords. And it also is there to kill off your Sharuum if you need to reuse her ability. Riptide Laboratory. This is kind of in here for our Trinket and Treasure Mage, so that we can reuse those. Other than that, it's just kind of colorless tapping. So not amazing, but good. And then finally, we have Bajuka Bog, which is it's in here to kill off graveyards, other people's that I don't like. Onto the Sharuum combo. For those of you who don't know what it is, it starts off with Phyrexian Metamorph or Sculpting Steel. They're both artifacts that can copy artifacts. And your general is an artifact that brings artifacts out of the yard. So you copy Sharuum. What happens is, as a state-based effect, before the Sharuum trigger hits the stack, both your copy and Sharuum die. Then your stack resolves and you get to pull Sharuum out of your graveyard. And she brings one of these out, copying her, and you just do that as many times as you want. And then you have infinite artifacts entering the graveyard battle, or triggers, which you use to kill off your opponents with either Disciple of the Vault or Bitter Ordeal. The last piece of this combo is Dire Undercurrents. A guy named Bitterroot on MTG Salvation kind of gave me this idea, because your general is black and blue, so you can draw through your deck until you hit your Bitter Ordeal, if you don't have it already. Onto a Thopter Foundry combo. Starts off with Thopter Foundry and Sword of the Meek. These two cards just all by themselves are very good. If you want to just like go aggro beats with little baby swarms. So pretty much you sacrifice the Sword of the Meek here, or here, and to the Thopter Foundry to make a 1/1 baby, which the Sword of the Meek just comes back and equip to, and then you gain a life. To go infinite, you can use Ashnod's Altar or Grand Architect to make infinite babies and make an infinite life. Or you can use Time Sieve to take as many turns as you want to until you kill everybody. Another card to use with the Time Sieve that's not as good, but it's one card, is Thopter Assembly here. Under the beater package, everything here other than this card, Cranial Plating, is suitable via Treasure Mage. Cranial Plating's here, like if we have a bunch of little artifact babies, we can swing in with all of them and do combat tricks with it. And it's just good. Charging Sphinx, kind of a pet card in artifact type decks that I run, just because it makes a lot of babies. Wormcoil Engine helps mitigate some of the pain that we're going to be taking from our own cards, and because of the fact that we're running Sharuum, a lot of the times you get hated on, so this kind of helps with that. And it makes babies when it dies. And it comes back, so it's cool. Magister Sphinx. This is a very cool card because it helps us to damn phone. It helps us to kill off people quicker. And same with Sphinx and Steelwind. It is an Esper Chroma that gains its life, so it helps mitigate as a good beater. Onto one of my favorite parts of the deck. I got this off of an article on this deck, or on Sharuum, and it's an Cog package. Cog is just anything that Trinket Mage can find. So we have Trinket Mage, and we also have this guy right here, Artificious Intuition. It's kind of like a survival of the fittest that finds cogs. So it's very good. And what those things can find are some of our answers, like Executioner's Capsule, kills reusable Doomblade. Brutal Effigy, this is kind of sad that it's not a sacrifice trigger, but I understand, I guess. 5 mana is not enough for reusable exiling, I guess. Dispeller's Capsule blows up nasty artifacts and enchantments that you don't want other people to have. Things that make them win, like a Lurin or Cloudstone Curio or whatever. Pithing Needle. This shuts off Planeswalkers' activated abilities of things that you don't want. Nihil Spellbomb. Reusable Grave Hate. I can use this to keep someone that I don't want to have a graveyard off of it. Ivory Tower. This kind of helps mitigate with some of the pain in this deck that we do to ourselves. Sensei's Divining Top. Very good card. Kind of not necessary in every deck like some people say, but this deck, it's very good, so I use it. Expedition Map. This is here to tutor up our utility lands mostly. Academy Ruins, Riptide Laboratory, High Market, whatever we want. Reliquary Tower, if I had remembered to put it in here before I made this video. Lotus Bloom. This is ramp. It kind of helps out with that. It's also just good in that you can pop it out with Sharuum during Sharuum combo to kind of finish it off, and then use it, crack it for 3 black for your Bitter Rodeo. You nearly always have Metalcraft, so Mox Opal's good. Mana Vault is very good because this is an artifact deck. There's obvious ways to untap it or reuse it or pop it into your hand or whatever. Soul Ring, obvious, very good. And then I run all the artifact lands available to me. Onto some ramp. Not very good because we don't have green, and not too much other than in the cog package, but we have the Signets. They're the Signets. They're not amazing, but they're useful. Coalition Relic. This is a pretty good card. So is Darksteel Ingot. And we have Sad Robot, who's really cool because we can recur him in this deck a lot. Onto the Drawn Tutor. You kind of need this in any combo deck, so we have Thirst for Knowledge. You draw 3 cards at instant speed, and then you discard an artifact that you can just get back with Sharuum or Academy Ruins or whatever. Necropotence. This is one of the cards that we hurt ourselves a lot with, but it's worth it. Well worth it, because this is a very good card. Ad Nauseam. This card also hurts us, but not as bad as you would think in an EDH deck. Our average mana cost is about 2.5. So, if you play this smart, you only go down to like 20 life or so until you stop. Memory Jar. It's an artifact that lets us pitch cards into our yard after it's done. Kind of pseudo-mill our opponents, and we can recur it. It's very good. And you go down 7 cards in your deck. Neat. Tunnel Vision. I usually use this in like blue combo decks as a combo kill, but I use it in this deck. Usually I name what's it called? Bitter Ordeal with this. And you usually go down to about 1/3 of your deck, and you find the pieces that you need to finish off your room combo. It kind of hurts if you get hit with Grave Hate right after that, so be careful with it. Entomb, practically a very cheap instant speed Demonic Tutor in this deck, very helpful. Demonic Tutor, kind of obvious. Reshape, this is just in here because I'm too cheap to get a Transmute artifact. It's a weaker version of that because we can't just let the thing go to the graveyard. Shred Memory and Muddled Mixture. These transmute for 2, so they can hit Thopter Foundry, Sword of the Meek, Time Sieve, Cranial Plating, a lot of other stuff. Counter spells if we need it to. So these are very good. And they're just good cards all by themselves. Praetor's Grasp. I'm slowly trying to get this into every black deck that I run, just because it's a stupid funny card. I've stolen other people's Soul Rings. I've stolen other people's Demonic Tutors. I'm willing to pay 5 mana for a Demonic Tutor if it's not from my own deck. We've got Treasure Mage. He's very good. He gets nearly everything in our beater package. He also gets Thopter Assembly and some control cards that we want. Fabricate finds us pretty much most of the things that we want in the deck for combos or beats or whatever. Cool Note the Forge Master. This also finds us artifacts at the expense of sacrificing 3, which is not much of a deal. Sphinx Summoner finds us artifact creatures, which is very good. He's kind of more for like finding the beater package or finding master transmuter, so he's very good. And then Tezzeret the Seeker, he's kind of doing Garroot duty in this deck. Untapping artifacts, tutoring for artifacts, overrunning with artifacts, almost. Onto some counters and such. We have Counterspell. Counterspell number 2, Arcane Denial. Counterspell number 3, because we nearly always have Metalcraft. Spell Crumple, this is kind of to deal with like graveyard-based decks that aren't mine, stuff like that. Rewind, it's just kind of a useful, sometimes not as good Force of Will. Onto some of our like answer cards. We don't have too much here, but we have a few. Dispatch, it's in here over Path because Path ramps your opponent, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, this has no drawback. Swords of Plowshares, because life really doesn't matter at all. I'd rather give my opponent 6 life than have them then kill off their Woodfall Primus and have it come right back. Duplicant, this is tutorable via Treasure Mage or any of our other artifact tutors. It gets rid of stuff, and we can reuse it. Same with Spine of Ishsaw, although it's a little bit less permanent. You can tutor for this and blow up stuff. Oblivion Stone, it's kind of sad that this blows up for most of our ramp, but sometimes you just have to O-Stone. And then Scaraglass. This doesn't blow up our ramp, so it's better than O-Stone, and it's cheaper, although it has to wait on the field for a turn. So it gives people an opportunity to blow it up. The last few cards here, they're just kind of like random cards that I didn't know how to classify, other than just random utility. We have My Retriever. He's kind of like helpful if you kill him off or chump block with him or whatever. Sacrifice him to Thopter Foundry. Get a card added into your hand. Grand Abolisher, I've been throwing him in my combo decks a little bit more often because he's very good combo protection. And he's tutorable via our transmute cards. And then last but not least, Chinese Master Transmuter. She's just a must in any blue artifact EDH deck, just because she's so much value out of her. You can pop in and out to your Sharuum to blink her, to reuse her ability, or Spine of Ishsaw to blow up more stuff, Duplicant to kill more stuff, just whatever. She's very good. So I hope you like this. I hope it was a little bit helpful. Please check out my thread on MTG Salvation. You can find the link to that